Yep.
was like no other. It started with a parent-player meeting on June 1st, where we spent the majority of the time going over protocols and procedures dealing with COVID-19. At that time, no one was sure if we'd even play a single game, let alone complete a 10-game season. It was a fluid situation, but at all times the safety of our players was our primary concern as we worked to establish new norms. It was a learning experience in real time. Here are some terms and conditions we will always remember. Temperature checks before practice. Bringing your own water. No locker room. Your vehicle became your locker. Social distancing at practice and games. Face masks. Ticket vouchers. Officials not touching the ball. Official bean bags and no shaking hands. Besides trying to deal with all the COVID mandates, in early June we found out that Coach Beagle was diagnosed with brain tumor. Immediately the team's battle cry became Beagle Strong. We knew then that it would take a total team effort to help Coach with his fight against cancer. Let me take a minute here to thank all of you for the great work you did fundraising for Coach Beagle and his family. We missed him on the sideline this year, and we love him. Looking forward to the day he returns to the team. Now, let's take a moment to look back at the 2020 season. I broke it down into 5 parts. The first part, Minerva Marlington. We went 2-0. You guys were the first team to win at Marlington. Part 2, Salem West Branch. We went 0-2. Part 3, the Alliance game. And again, you were the first team to win at Alliance. In my mind that night, and I've said this before, we became a total team. We took the I, we took the individual out of team. With the score tied 34-34 with around 5 minutes left, we drove from our 35-yard line the length of the field for the winning touchdown. We kicked off. 8 plays later, the defense shut Alliance down to secure the victory. All 3 parts contributed that night: our offense, defense, and special teams. The fourth part was the tournament, where we went 2-1. And again, you're the first team to win 2 games in our school's 100-year history in the tournament. And finally, the fifth part, Indian Valley. And for 2 weeks, you heard from the coaches, 7-3 sounds better than 6-4. And you went out and got the job done. Looking back, it was a memorable ride from start to finish. Would all of our seniors please stand? As I stated after the last game, you left the 2021 team a roadmap for success. We're grateful for everything you have done. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's take a minute now and look to the future. Juniors and sophomores, it's now up to you to maintain success that began this season. But in order to do this, each and every one of you must commit yourself to putting in the extra time needed to be successful. All of you can lift the weight training class. If you're not involved in a winter or spring sport, dedicate yourself to showing up after school 2-3 times a week for workouts. I know you're all up to the task, and I'm already looking forward to next year. Finally, as a longtime teacher and coach, I hope that I've instilled in my players the following truth. Success never comes easy. It requires hard work, total commitment, and no days off. Thank you. Now, I have a list of thank yous I want to go through simply because to get through a football season, we started this again with our meeting June 1st, and we finished up November 6th, so that's 5 months. But anyway, my thank yous to Dr. Petrocchi, to Mr. Robinson, our Board of Education. Here at the school, I'd like to thank Mr. Davis, Mr. Eddie, our athletic director, secretaries, Lori Bryant, and athletic secretary, Lori Wood. The voice of the Warriors, Craig Brooks. Also, our touchdown club. And we have 4 officers, and these ladies do an outstanding job. Angie Carmen, the president, Stephanie Flanagan, the vice president, Lindsay Smith, our treasurer, and Anna Spillman, our secretary. Also, the parents. And I also like to thank Tracy Swearingen for creating the highlight tape. And I sent it out to you, I think I did yesterday. If you look in your email, your school email, you received an email from me with the highlight tape on it. It's about 21 minutes long, and it's done real well. And I also like to thank the parents. And if you think about it, you were fed every Thursday night because of the parents and the club. And then when we went on the road during the tournament, you know, we had to go down to Columbus 2 weekends in a row. That was like moving a small army, all right? Because we had food on the bus. We had, you know, all the players, plus the freshmen, the cheerleaders, all the coaches. And our touchdown club make sure that everything was taken care of. And they did such a great job. Also, I'd like to thank the band and the cheerleaders, our trainer, Rick Person. Now, the high school coaches, and I got to thank, they're like brothers to me. You know, when you get my age, your only friends are your assistant coaches, believe it or not. And I enjoyed every minute of it the last 2 years hanging out with these guys. I don't have a whole lot of friends, because the older you get, you just don't have friends. And last week I went into somewhat of a depression because I wasn't around these guys. And when you get around them, that's all we do is make fun of each other. So it was a great ride. I enjoyed it. I want to introduce him, Tim Albrecht. Thank you. David Brown, he's not here. He's out making some deals, just like he did at the Lions game. Coach Hill, Storm Hill. Anthony Piro. Kyle Poole, and Wayne Wood. Great group of guys. And unfortunately, I have them as assistant coaches. Also, I'd like to thank our freshman coaches. We have 2 of them, really good ones, Eric McCourt and Joey McGee. And the thing is with Eric, he also did the stats every Friday night. So let's give them a round of applause. Our junior high coaches, Cameron Clapper, and Cameron also came every Friday night and helped the coaches up in the press box. Brian Conley, cousin Nick Pergolini, Mike Carmen, and Coach Carmen also did the filming of the game. So our junior high coaches. Finally, our spiritual coach, Scott Welch, who was with us every Thursday and every game, did an outstanding job. And then finally, I got to thank my wife, Carol, for this year she didn't miss a game. Last year she missed one because she couldn't get down to Cambridge. She didn't have a way. But anyway, she was there every week, and I thanked her. So thank you for all the people that helped out. Now, I want to go into the next part of the program for the seniors. And the first senior I will talk about, and I'll handle all the captains, and that's Luke Warner. Come on up here. Thank you. Luke is the second-year medal winner, second team EBC, perfect attendance, and I'm going to announce every player that had perfect attendance from the start of the season to the end of the season. He was EBC Scholar Athlete, and to make that, you need 3.4 or above. And we had 19 athletes on that list, and that's a good thing. And he was also merit honor roll. We had 18 athletes on the merit honor roll. Now, Luke, I think it was Coach Hill said something about your nicknames the last week, right? Well, I got 2 more to add. Cool Hand Luke and Poker Face Luke. And that's a good quality in a quarterback. because he never appeared to be nervous. I couldn't, looking at you before the game, I didn't know if you were nervous. I didn't know if you were fine, but you seemed to take care of things. Again, that's a good quality. So one thing to remember with this poker face and cool hand Luke, if you don't go to college, your parents can send you to Vegas, give you a lot of money, you become a professional party player. All right? Also, I don't know if you ever watched Luke Stratton, real flexible. and if the card playing thing doesn't work, maybe they can send you to yoga college, and you can start your own yoga school. So, but all kidding aside, having the poker face and the flexibility made you an outstanding quarterback this year. 2020 was your comeback year. All your hard work and dedication in the spring and summer enabled you to be the leader of the offense. I had one coach from our conference, the UBC, said that you were very good at the play action. And that's one thing we did well with. Now, also, I was finally thrilled that you got to play some defense. All right? So, and you hold some school records. And this was done in 1 year. All right, for instance, your tie number 1 was Zay Dietz, pass completion percentage at 55.7%. Passing attempts, your number 10, with 192. Now, Carrollton football has been going on, according to Mr. Eddie, at 100 years. So that's a long time. And Luke's making these records. Completions, your number 8 at 107. Pass yards, your number 8, you have 1,546. As a matter of fact, this year you threw for 1,432 yards. And then finally, TDs, your number 6 with 13. So congratulations. No more mission, right? All right, here you go. This is and seniors, you make sure you thank the touchdown club because they did a heck of a thing getting your bags and your booklets all taken care of. They're really nice. And here's your letter and your academic points. Luke Warner. So. Now, my next captain, Josh Nips, come on up. Josh was 3-year letter winner, first team EBC, and that's back-to-back and unanimous. And what I mean by unanimous, he received all 6 coaches who were voting, because coaches can't vote for their own votes. All right, that's unanimous. All right, he had perfect attendance, EBC scholar athlete, and honor roll. Total tackles this year, and he led the team in total tackles 50.5. He had the sacks were 1.5. TFLs 13.5. Pass breakups, he had 2. And going back to the TFLs, he'll end up number 5 in the school history book with 24.5 for 3 years. So congratulations there. Now your brother Jacob has nothing over you because he was listed in the total tackles. So you got something on him now. Now, Josh was the quietest of all 4 captains. And looking at Josh, he's not the fastest D lineman or O lineman. He wasn't the biggest D lineman or O lineman. He wasn't the strongest D lineman or O lineman. So why was Josh back-to-back first team, EBC? First of all, Josh was the best technician. Josh was the quickest. Josh was coachable. Josh has a motor. And finally, Josh stayed healthy. So, congratulations. Our next captain, Justin Naylor. Come on up. Justin Preston was second team EBC. He's a 3-year letter winner, perfect attendance. This year he had 32 total tackles, 8.5 TFLs. He was also EBC Scholar Athlete, and then this 9 weeks he was Distinguished Honor Roll with the 4.0, and that's good. Now, I nicknamed him early in the season Bronco because just how hard he played. He ran the ball hard, he blocked hard, and he tackled hard. He was an outstanding, versatile player for me the last 2 years. He played, stop and think, 5 different positions. Defensively, he played 2. He was the brave outside linebacker where he'd be standing, or when Coach Hill, Coach Bull, Coach Albrecht called our 4-man front, he had to put his hand in the dirt and play defensive end. Not very big for, back when I played, the defensive end was a defensive tackle. So, but anyway, he played 2 positions. Offensively, he played 3. He was a fullback, he was an up back, and he was a tight end. Also, he played scout teams, and when he played scout team, he did it full go. He was our backup long snapper. And by the end of the season, he had a formation named after him, Pro-Nato. So that's where he played that tight end on the line with the receivers. His breakout game came in Cambridge, where he led the team with 6.5 tackles, 5 solos, 3 assists, and 5 TFL. So, congratulations. Now our last captain, Nick Martin. Come on up. Nick, 2-year letter winner. Nick was fullback, inside linebacker. All right, he made the honor roll this 9 weeks. He's kind of the unsung hero on the offense. And I'll get to that in a second, but he was our emotional captain. He's the one I was glad that would say something, all right? And the last thing I'll remember about you, and I don't know if you guys remember, the night we played Indian Valley, and they did that right at the beginning of the game, that pitiful onside kick that went 6 yards, and he's sitting there clapping in front of the Indian Valley players. And again, I got to thank you for you being the one to speak out. So, thank you. Also, going back to the unsung hero, he was always called on to block, all right? And, being a running back, that's a hard thing to do. And Nick would play any position. Something open during the game, he'd be the one to say, I'll go in, all right? And then he played scout team. And I'm pretty sure you probably had all your injuries from the scout team, right? Because he ran hard. He got that first team defense prepared for the next game. He had 2 breakout games, and one was offense, and it was the Marlington game. Now, he had 52 yards. That's not a whole lot, but going into the game, I told him, in stack, I said, I don't think the belly's going to work. Some reason, somehow, he made it work. He had 7 attempts, 52 yards. Also, another one was the Alliance game. If you remember, he led the team in receptions. He had 82 yards. He was our top receiver. And we ran the boot, heck out of the boot. He caught the ball. Also, if you remember against the Lions, remember when he smacked that kid on the kickoff team on our sideline? Yeah, that was a heck of a hit. He scored his touchdown against Bexley. Another thing about Nick, he works his butt off in the weight room. And last March, we took a small group up to Columbiana. They had a lifting meet there, and he placed first in the 155 class, and he was MVP in the lightweight division. So, thank you, Nick. Now, my last senior is Ashley here. No, she's not here. Okay. Well then, we'll move on. I have a gift for her. She is a definite senior letter winner. And she was also EBC Scholar Athlete and Merit Honor Roll. So, all right, now, Coach.
Oscar, you want to come up? I'm going to talk about a little bit about the season first before just to touch up on it. I think this senior class, I mean, I've only been in Carrollton for 3 years, so I don't know too much about the history or anything that happened before. But the only thing I know is this senior class, I really think set the foundation for the football program here at Carrollton. I really, really, really believe that, and I appreciate coaching you guys. It's enjoyable to be coaching you guys like you guys that work hard, that compete, that want to play the game fast and physical. It's enjoyable, it really is. So, thank you seniors for all that. Now, I'll talk about a little bit about Oscar. My man Oscar. Had him in the other building a couple times last year. A little nervous about him, but I know Oscar is a hard worker, physical kid that wants to compete, doesn't like to lose, always wants to battle. And when summer came around, we weren't sure what, we were like, man, we really hope Oscar, we were sure. The year before, we weren't sure Oscar was, wasn't sure. He was here all 5 days summer. And we really, all the coaches recognized it and we appreciated it. And not only did that show, man, it showed during the season. You played great. I mean, you did a great job defense line, you did a great job up back. You were a huge difference maker for this team this year. You really were. Little couple stats about Oscar. Oscar has a single season record with extra point attempts at 33 for the school, 4th all time. He has 25 made, 6 all time single season record. He has 36 field goal attempts career, 6 all time. He had 26.
Interruption. Just a reminder, after school detention will now be in room H104 with Mrs. Mitchell. That is until further notice. H104 with Mrs. Mitchell. Thank you.
He has 26 extra points made in his career. That's 5th all time. When Coach G said that's 100 years of football. He's 5th all time. It's something to be proud of. Everything's something to be proud of. He had 2 fumble recoveries. He had 30 total tackles, 20 solo, 10 assists. He had 4 tackles for loss. He had 12 punts for a 27 average, 1 inside the 20. He had 41 kickoffs for a 37-yard average. Oscar did it all. He kicked, he played defense, played offense. We appreciate all your hard work. We appreciate everything done. I wish you the best in the future. Thanks, Oscar.
Before I move on to our next senior, I forgot. I'm going to bring the captain up because I do have their picture. So Lou, come on up here one more time. Each captain will receive a captain's award. Josh, come on up. Justin. And Nick. Okay, Coach Wood, thank you.
JT.
individual or a football player. I mean, he wrestles, and that's common in football. But JT also plays the saxophone in the jazz band. He's on the speech and debate team. And then he also wears that Indiana Jones hat when he's, for the senior football picture. And he sings. Always remember the trouble shuffle there. Yeah. And of course, we would not want JT to be any other way. JT is also a very entertaining person. His Saturday morning runs and his shaping were hilarious to watch, and his teammates loved it. But they were also very glad it was you and not them. JT would also entertain us by proving to one and all that we had the best football helmets and money could buy. He had you guys, his teammates, in mind, and he tested his helmet time after time after time, almost every day of practice. JT tried, but he just couldn't get that helmet to crack. And of course, I saw it, I loved it. JT hitting that hill one day before practice, he kind of slid down that slippery slope. He wanted to take it out on the hill. And according to my sources, JT was very intense on the sidelines, whether it was hoisting his crutches in the air or talking smack to the opposing team. Being up in the booth, I don't hear those things. And I'll be honest, in 38 years of coaching, JT is the only guy that ever came into the coach's office to talk about his dates. His first day, his second day, his third day. Hopefully it's still happening. All right, good. JT, I'm sorry you missed your senior year, but I'm not sorry that I had an opportunity to coach you. Thank you. Jones, number 76, a tail two football players. Nick knows what I mean by that. Nick and I would talk. I would tell him you could either be ground chuck or you could be a T-bone. Most of the time he was T-bone, but we all know what I mean there. Nick came to us as a freshman from field, and I'm very, very glad he did. He became a very integral part of this record-setting team. Nick is usually very quiet, but he can be quite funny at times. And I enjoyed our little talks that we had during the team stretch. When you guys would get to the 45, I'd have a couple seconds there. Nick and I would talk. And I really enjoyed asking, what day is it? One day closer to game day. Like I said earlier, Nick was a tail two players. As Forrest Gump would say, Nick was like a box of chocolates. You just never knew what you were going to get. But I can say with confidence, if the game was on the line, you were going to get the best from Nick, the T-bone, not the ground chuck. Things I remember about Nick. I remember Nick leading a very fast Talon down the field on the touchdown scoring reverse against Indian Valley. I remember Nick hustling and making a tackle on a tunnel screen against Indian Valley when the game was still close. I remember Nick destroying a Cambridge linebacker on a power left play. I will remember Nick driving a Marlington defensive lineman 15 yards downfield on one of Chase's long runs. I will remember Nick setting the edge on our boot package so that Luke and all the receivers could have a great season. I will remember Nick dominating the line of scrimmage against Lions on the winning touchdown drive in the fourth quarter. Nick, that's the way I'm going to remember you, as T-Bone. And I'm going to miss you.
Hold on, John.
loss, fumble recovery, and a pass breakup. Offensively, he was our primary tight end. He did an excellent job blocking for a very successful run game. More importantly than any statistic for Gage is I will remember him for being his accountability and, like I said, being a team player. I don't think he missed any summer workouts. Moving on to 1 week of vacation. Okay. He often played injured, and I think that was attributed to him being undersized or falling out of tree stand. He didn't complain. He tried his best to help the team through any type of injury that he had. This summer, when we were establishing some new faces on defense, he was often engaged and would call the strength. He would recognize unbalanced formation before any coach team. And I think that was just attributed to his understanding of the game and the commitment that he had made. I've seen Gage mature and grow as a young man over the past 3 years of coaching him. I could easily see him being a teacher and coach in the future, and I look forward to watching you play some basketball hopefully this winter. And I wish you the best luck in college. So, Gage, all right, next one, the glass man, Brandon Brown.
Okay.
Like I said, I kind of say my rousing a little bit here because, I couldn't go too long here. Brandon's kind of short. I don't want to take too much time. Obviously, we didn't get to have Brandon as a football player this year, but he's definitely still part of our football team. Brandon started for us as a sophomore, and he was a major contributor to our team as a junior. As a junior, he was third in the team in tackles from the safety position, and he also had 3 pass breakups and 1 interception. As a junior, Brandon was also our leading receiver with 294 yards and handled punt return duties. He was definitely missed on the field this year. Safety is a difficult position to learn in our defense, as some of our sophomores got used to this year. The different alignments and changes that happened with multiple coverage. Brandon did an excellent job with this last year, and I feel that's because he's a smart football player. And both him and Gage, they also made all MVC for their grades, so it doesn't surprise me that they both had success. I also challenged Brandon last year to become a little bit more aggressive in the tackling aspect of the safety position, and he definitely improved as the year went. I've seen Brandon again mature and grow as a young man over the past 3 years. Mature, I don't know. I look forward to watching you wrestle this winter. Hopefully, we get all healed up, and I wish you the best of luck in college.
All right, now we'll finish up with the letters and awards for our juniors and sophomores. We'll start with our juniors. Is Matt Brayman here? All right. Joey Carmen, come on up. Joey was, he's a first-year letterman. He played center and D-line. He had perfect attendance. He was our backup center, and he practiced that all year. Where he won his letter out was special teams, and that was on the PAT team. And those of you, I've been here 2 years, and special teams is a third of the game, and that's one way to get on the field. And I thought Joey did an outstanding job. Also, he was on the scout team every week. And you guys that play scout team, we've all played. It's not an easy thing. Especially if you're a younger guy, and Joey has done it. He's a true team player. He was also EBC Scholar Athlete and Honor Roll. Joey Carmen. Cameron Kreider, come on up. I think you're here, yep. Cameron was a fullback D lineman for us. He'll receive a JV award this year. He was also on the honor roll. And I've talked to Cameron at the end of the season about next year. We're going to need some upbacks. I think that'd be a perfect position for him. You can come across. But Cameron did a nice job on our scout team, both sides of the ball. And again, you know, these kind of guys, it makes the varsity much better. So, Cameron, thank you. Austin Coletti, come on up. Austin's this is second-year letter winner. He was a wideout, cornerback, perfect attendance. Receiving-wise, because he played both sides of the ball, he had 21 receptions for 205 yards. He had 2 TDs. On defense, he had 18 tackles. And that's, you know, I say 18 tackles, but, you know, you can ask Coach Hill, we don't want our corners leading in tackles, because if they're leading in tackles, we got some problems in the front seven. So, but he had 4 interceptions, all right, and that definitely led the team, and 1 touchdown out of it. And he had a total yards, you know, he had the 4 interceptions, the 1 touchdown, total yards of 120 yards. So, with that yardage, places him 7th on our, you know, our history record book in interception yards. So, he also, you know, was going after the quarterback position. He didn't get it, and he was a true team player. He fit in at a wideout, did an outstanding job, and I'm proud of him and looking for big things for him next year. So, Austin Coletti, thank you. Is Brandon here? Goody. Roll up your pants. Oh, okay. All right, second-year letter winner. Brandon was tailback / fullback. I could never get him to play offense. But that's changing. Next year, he's playing offense. So, you know, when it came to scout team, inside linebacker, we could never find him. He was an invisible guy. But when he did come over there, he did a lot of good things. Perfect attendance. This year, he had 30 tackles, 1 sack, 3 TFLs. His breakout game was against Bexley, where he led the team in total tackles with 4.5, and he was also on the honor roll. So, Brandon, thank you. Austin Haney, second-year letter winner. Austin was a tight end, inside linebacker. At a tight end, he had, watch it, don't fall, 4 receptions for 81 yards, and I think it was Salem. He caught that pass down the seam for a touchdown. Defensively, he had 12 tackles, total tackles, 2 TFLs. Now, next year, yeah, he's going to have to play both sides of the ball at all times. And the thing I remember, and I know none of you do, if you remember against Lions, after we scored to go up, 40-34, he was the one on the kickoff team that ran down and had that tackle around the 25-yard line. That was big, because now that put, instead of the Lions getting the ball on the 40, they were back on the 25. And again, special teams are important. But anyway, thank you, Austin. Is Hunter here? Nope. Nope. All right. Alex Johnson, second-year letter winner. Alex played offensive. He was the right tackle and also played D-line. Now, he was the right tackle till he was quarantined for a couple of weeks. And the thing that, you know, when I talked to him at the end of the season was one thing I was happy to see him do the last 2 weeks when he knew he couldn't play. He was there at every practice trying to make, you know, if it was our offense better or our defense better. He was there at every practice. And we're, you know, expecting some big things out of him next year, both sides of the ball. So thanks, Alex. Jaden Lacey. Jaden, the second-year letter winner. Jaden was a wideout, cornerback. Offensively, had 10 receptions, 56 yards. Defensively, he had 28.5 total tackles, 4 breakups, and 2 INTs. He was also an EBC Scholar Athlete and Merit Honor Roll. Now, I've talked to him about next year. I'm expecting some big things. He may be moved to another position, but he's definitely a physical kid. He can play inside, he can play in the secondary, and we're hoping some big things out of him. So, Jake, thanks. Branch, come on up. Second-year letter winner. Branch played OT for us and D-line, more on the defense, and in some of the games that he got in, he had 2 TFLs. He was also, where he gobbled up his quarters, were on the PAT team. And he also started on the JV team. So hopefully next year he can help us on both sides of the ball. He was injured in the last JV game down at Indian Valley. And Branch, thank you. All right, is Haley McIntyre here? Nope. All right. Derek Miller, come on down. Derek was a tight end wide out. On defense, he played the Brave. He also played the open tackle. He kind of was moved around. He also had perfect attendance. Offensively, he had 2 receptions for 22 yards. Defensively, 6.5 total tackles, 1.5 TFL, 1 pass breakup. He was an EBC Scholar Athlete and a Merit Honor Roll. Now, Derek next year will be called on to, play tight end, all right, lock down, kick out stuff that he heard me all year long talk to him about, and he's going to have to play somewhere on defense. We're expecting some big things from him next year. Derek Miller. Isaac Moore. Second-year letter winner, basically was our center. All right, he had perfect attendance. Sometimes he tried to sneak out and play some defense, but it just never happened. But that's all right, okay? On the offensive line, I know Coach Crowell always went to him to ask what was going on. He was kind of the coach that when he came to the sideline, Coach Crowell would say, what's going on, what's their alignments? And one thing, he was dead on every time we asked him about if they're in a 2 technique or they head up, 5, were we getting 5s? He seemed to get the thing done. And he's a very smart football player. He was also an EBC Scholar Athlete. He was also Merit Honor Roll. And again, who knows defensively next year? Isaac, you may show up somewhere. So anyway, thank you. Dougie Renninger, come on up. Second-year letter winner. Sometimes played offensive guard for us. He practiced there a little bit, but more he was at a D tackle, open tackle. He had 9.5 total tackles, 1 TFL, 2 pass breakups, also on the honor roll. I tried to get Dougie to be up back. I tried to get him in a number of spots, but he seemed to pan out and did a tremendous job backing people up on the defensive line. And next year, he's going to have to play some offense. So looking forward to Dougie playing both sides of the ball next year. Thank you. The last one is Dominic Spillman, second year of our juniors. Dominic played tailback. He also played a little fullback. He was our rover, perfect attendance. He was injured, and he was injured for 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks of the injury, he got hurt near the end of the Marlington game. And then he tried to go against Salem, it didn't work. He tried to go against West Branch, it didn't work. So finally, we knew the playoffs were 2 weeks down the road, and we held him out. He got healthy, and he did a tremendous job for us. Offensively, he had 4 carries, he had a touchdown. defensively, where he was a beast. He had 26.5 tackles, total tackles, and again, the 4 games that he missed, you add that on, who knows how high that could have been. He had 3 sacks, 11 TFLs, 2 pass breakups. He was EBC honorable mention. He was EBC Scholar Athlete, and he was a Merit Honorable. And next year, he's going to have to do a lot for us. So, Dominic, thank you. That's our juniors. Now, our sophomores. Nate Baker, come on up. Nate's a first-year letter winner. Nate was on our kickoff team. And kickoff's one of the things I always practice. I don't know if you guys figured that out, punt and kickoff, because that's where we put the defense in a good position. Offensively, he had 10 carries for 53 yards. He was a JV running back and quarterback. And I know Coach Piro and Coach Albrecht were impressed with him on the JV team. He's also on our honor roll. He missed the last 2 weeks simply because he was quarantined. So, Nate, thank you. Ethan Benner. Ethan Benner was a JV award winner. He was a fullback, inside linebacker. Did a tremendous job there. Also did scout team, where he'd play inside linebacker. He also would do running back for us, and always he'd be a receiver, always jumping in. And Ethan was a Merit Honor Roll, and next year we'll probably find a spot for you defensively and see what happens offensively. Looking forward for him coming back. Thank you. Ian Chestnut. Ian received a JV award. He was a wide-out, strong safety. You know, when it all started for him, I didn't know what to expect when he showed up that first day. But he seemed to get better each week, all right? And that's because he enjoyed it. At first, I don't know if he enjoyed it, but I think he kind of figured it out, and it can be fun. And he was always on scout team, all right? And again, as I mentioned, that's not fun at times, but he was always out there. And that's what you want. You want, the reason why, our offense and defense did what it did is because you guys who played scout team went out and made these guys better. And he was also on the honor roll. So hopefully he comes back out next year. Even, thank you. Marcus Colvin. Here he is. All right. He's a JV award winner. Marcus was an offensive guard, D lineman. Did a great job on the JV team. The JV team went, and I forgot to mention, they were 4-1-1. That's a good year. And again, Marcus was always on the scout team, and he made you guys better, a whole lot better. And he was a Merit Honor Roll. So, Marcus, thank you, and next year. Colin Grove. Colin was an offensive tackle, D lineman. He's JV award winner. Played a lot on the JV team, and also was a member of that scout team, week in, week out on the line. And again, being a wide out on the scout team, being the quarterback on the scout team with Coach Piro, that's the fun part. But being on that line, it's hard. You can ask the older guys. That's not fun. And he did a good job. So, Colin, thank you. Colin's also Merit Honor Roll. Zach Martin, first-year letter winner. Zach had 44 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and he had 2 punt returns. Played a little offense for us, perfect attendance. His punt return, he had a touchdown, and believe it or not, that places him second on the all-time list for punt returns for whatever reason. Punt returns weren't big around here way back when, but he's on the list now as number 2. That's good. And as Coach Hill said, to play the strong safety position, and you look at Zach, you think he's more of a corner, all right? he had to come down a lot of times and take on some big running backs, and he did a tremendous job. And then next year, we're going to count on you playing some offense, too. So, and getting better at that strong safety position. He was EBC Scholar Athlete, and he was also on the honor roll. Thanks, Dad. It's Caden Mitchell here. Come on up. There's a sheet form. Oh, yeah. I forgot to hand these out. Make sure you guys have got to pick these up. All right, where's Kate? All right, Caden was injured early. He was a wide-out cornerback and would have fit in somewhere. He's also can kick the football. He's a punter, PAT. He was also on the Merit Honor Roll, and I hope you come out next year, get healthy, because there's plenty of spots for you. So thank you, Kate. Chase Olstrom, first-year letter winner. He was a tailback, strong safety. He was first team EBC. He had 192 carries for 1,241 yards, 17 TDs. He's number 4 rushing average with 6.5 average. On defense, 20 total tackles, 2 pass breakups. And he was a workhorse. All right, believe it or not that big, but he was a workhorse. Against the Lions, he carried the rock 36 times for 196 yards and 3 TDs. Chase was an EBC Scholar Athlete plus on the honor roll, and next year expecting some real big things from him. So, good job. Cole People. Cole, first-year letter winner, played JV tight end, inside linebacker. He was on our kickoff return team, was a part of that, and I think the last week they even kicked it to him. They booched it after they tried the ugly onside kick. Definitely a leader on the JV team. He was on the honor roll, and next year, you know, as much as we use tight ends, he'll be called on to play tight end and somewhere on defense. So thanks, Cole. Big Rigo, Chance, come on up. First year letter winner. He was an offensive tackle. Did you play any JV? The first one, that's where you played your defense. Perfect attendance. He also did scout team. I mean, he was a starter. He took over when Alex had to sit out and did a tremendous job. You know, we're pretty lucky. Now we got 2 nice-sized bookends next year going into the season. He was an EBC Scholar Athlete. He was also a Merit Honor Roll. So looking for big things for you next year, Chance. So thank you. Emily Reed, come on up. Emily, this is her second year as a water girl, so she gets the letter. And the way, you know, the policy for the water girls is you got to do it 2 years in a row. So I guess she can end up with, she can be a 2-year letter winner the time she graduates. And the thing is, we have her for 2 more years. She was an EBC Scholar Athlete and a Merit Honor Roll. And let me tell you about the water girls. During the week, there wasn't a lot to do, all right? But come Friday nights or Saturday when we played in the tournament, they were the first ones there getting things ready, and they were the last ones to leave after the game. Am I right? Yeah. So that's not an easy job. So I like to thank them, and looking forward to Emily coming back. Thank you. Our other water girl, Katie, come on up. She was in her first year, and we're looking forward for her coming back. She was merit honor roll, and I'm glad she signed up. And you know, going into next year, we already got 4 girls coming back, so we picked up one more, you know, at the start. So I'm looking forward to her coming back. Matter of fact, her mother went to Lisbon, and I had her in class way long time ago. Not that long ago, but long enough. So, Kate, thank you. Kate Smith. Kate Smith was our JV quarterback, also strong safety. Again, he was the quarterback on the 4-1-1 team, did an outstanding job. He also, when it came to scout team, he'd always jump in at wideout and did a nice job for us. So next year we hope he comes back, comes out, and we'll see what happens, all right, at the quarterback position. But he's definitely a hard worker. He's an athlete. Looking forward for him coming out. And he was merit honor. Thank you. Brock Smith, first year letter winner. Brock was a wideout and rover. He was second in total yards. He had 20 receptions at 285 yards, 3 TDs. Defensively, he had to fill in for Dawn and did a nice job, did a really nice job filling in for Dawn. It was a really good receiver. You know, I told him, because we talked about running back, and then I came to him, I said, "You want to get on the field, Brock?" And he said, "Yep." And I said, "I got a spot for you." And he did a tremendous job at a wideout for us. He had perfect attendance. You know, defensively, 14 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 pass breakup, perfect attendance. Cambridge, defensively, he had an interception for a touchdown. Did a really nice job. Looking forward to you coming back next year. Thank you. Ben Steiner. Ben was an offensive guard, D lineman for us. He was injured mid to late season for us. He missed about 4 weeks, right? Yeah, and he was on the return team helping with the varsity, but he got injured. It was Marlington, right? Yep, against Marlington. Did a real nice job on the JV team. Did a better job on the scout team. He always jumped in at guard, never questioned anything, and I thank him for it. He was also on the merit honor roll, and again, he'll be working towards to break that starting lineup next year. Thank you. Is Braxton here? Nope. All right. Cody Wells. Cody was a tight end. Also on the JV team, we moved him to tackle, and I already talked to him about it, that next year he's going to grow, and he's going to hit the weight room, he's going to gain some weight, and he'll be a nice tackle or guard for us. Also played some D-line. He was on our JV team. He had perfect attendance. He also jumped in at the scout team, and that's where he got his work on the offensive line. And he was also on our honor roll. So, Cody, I want to thank you. Yeah. Now, our last sophomore, Ben Zinda, first year later. Ben was a starting offensive guard and played a lot on the defensive line, perfect attendance. He ended up with 16.5 tackles, 2.5 TFLs. He was also on our kickoff team. He also jumped in and did scout team. He was on our honor roll. I remember that night, what was it? It was the Bexley game. You and Coach Cap Proud, I can take you to my grave, that I yelled at you both as sophomores, both who missed the PAT team. But right after he came off the field, after I yelled at him, I said, "Don't worry about it," because Coach Proud did the same thing. So we're looking forward to him coming back next year and playing both sides of the ball. Thank you, man. Now, those of you juniors and sophomores, you can get your awards up here. We have your letters and certificates for you. I haven't screwed up. But in finishing up, I'd like to thank you. Again, I'm not saying goodbye because I'm looking forward to next year. And seniors, you guys were a great group. It was a definitely comeback year. You guys did a lot. And again, I'm not saying goodbye. I'll just see you some other time. So, hey, we're done here. Thank you very much.
Hold on. Go ahead, guys.
Alright. We just wanted to come up here and say thank you to you and all the other coaches that gave us a good season. You coached us, told us what to do, we won.
You can bring Bill Belichick to the high school level. If you don't have players who want to play as a team, it does not matter. All right, you guys decided you were going to play as a team. We all pulled in the same direction, and that's what made it so memorable. So thank you, get to class.